Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another speed build here on the channel. I actually went a little bit build crazy as of recent. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know that as of at this point. I don't know if I'm gonna get this video out in August because I am recording this voiceover on the 22nd. Hopefully I'm planning on getting it out as soon as possible. Maybe if I can aim for today, I'm going to, but today is Sunday, so we usually go and visit my grandparents on Sundays, so chances are I'm not going to get it out today, but maybe tomorrow. But if it pops up into September, don't be surprised. But this build, I recently got into a really big, building urge all of a sudden. I've been sort of looking at houses, just on the internet randomly and sort of taking inspiration from random houses. And so none of these builds have necessarily been designed after one particular house that I've found on the internet. More like multiple and then me experimenting or wanting to try something that I've thought about in a while of trying, or something I've seen others try. Like the whole open basement thing that I have going on over there. I've seen people do that and I've always wanted to try, and I actually did have problems figuring out. I do cut a little bit of it out. One, because the video is longer than I really want it to be, but also because I couldn't figure it out and I just looked stupid. I actually eventually went online to figure out exactly how to do it, and that helped a lot. So, this is sort of a hodgepodge of things, basically, and I actually am really, really proud with how this turns out. I do hope y'all like it as well. And of course, like always, there is going to be screenshots at the end, so make sure you stay tuned for those screenshots at the end to see fully everything, and I think the screenshots show it off a little bit better. I did speed this one up a little bit more than usual, and I think I'm going to try to speed it up just a little bit more than what I have right now as I'm watching it, just to try to get it a little bit shorter. I don't know how much I'm going to speed it up anymore, but please let me know if it is way too fast. I basically have been experimenting with the last several builds and apartment makeovers and stuff, trying to figure out how fast I can go. Obviously, the size of the length of the video is going to influence somewhat. If I make a short speed build video and it's already short without me having to speed it up a whole lot, I'm probably not going to speed it up as much as like this one, but this is a bigger size one than maybe some of the others, which I have built one after this that was quite a bit smaller, so I know its file size is not nearly as big, or length anyway, so that one I won't speed up as much as I did this one, but I will still speed it up enough to try to get it. My goal is to basically get as close to 40 and 35 minutes for speed builds as possible. This one right now is sitting around 50. I'm hoping to get it under 50 if I can. And I do apologize that it's long, but I didn't want to split it up. I don't want to split it up unless I really, really have to. And the only way I would have split it up is if the final outcome would have been over an hour. And though it's very close to an hour, it's not. So be very, very short videos if I split it up at this point. And also, I would rather have it all said and done. That's what I prefer to do with my builds, is to have it all done in one video versus splitting it up like I had to with Vaporeon and Cassie's Dream Homes. But those builds were big. Real big. And I think I've gotten better with not being so huge with my builds. This one is pretty big size, but it's still not gigantic like those builds were. But, so another part of me using inspiration for this build is it's best for me if I sort of have an idea of the Sims that I am building a house for. The August collab build that I put up, which obviously this is the end of August, the August collab is no longer, I don't have people joining it anymore, but if you want to go just check out the build, because it was a speed build, there will be a link in the description below to the builds playlist, Sims 4 builds playlist, and it will be it's like the last two, because I've had that one and the Landers Penthouse Makeover, the last two. So you can go check that over there. But that was one of the few that I built a house not knowing the Sims that were moving in. So I literally just did whatever came to mind, and it actually turned out really, really well. I'm really, really proud of that build. I think it was one of the first builds that size and proportion wise I did very, very well. And it's nice and stuff. I mean, it's not too complicated, but not too simplistic all at the same time. I was really proud of it, basically. And I've been really proud of these last few builds that I've done recently as well. I feel like I'm improving, guys. I could be wrong, but I feel like I am improving. But, like I was saying though, I do prefer to sort of have an idea of what Sims would possibly be moving into this house. So what I've decided to do with these next so many builds that you're going to be seeing, I still plan on actually building more, because I want to build. I have like an urge to just build, and I want to build some more. I am going to focus on making some create a sim videos though as of right now, so I'm not going to try to build anymore for the next few days. So, but I do want to try to build some more. But what I was sort of doing is I was basically picking 2 random sims from my main series, main save anyway, which is, if you watch any of my LPs, would be focusing on like Townie Life, Eevee Family, and The Forgotten. So that whole save there with those guys in it, I sort of just picked 2 random sims and was like, if these 2 people got together, what would their house look like? So it's weird, but that's how I did it. So there may be no absolutely big chance that these sims will get together in the main save, but like I said, I picked 2 random sims to see basically what I would create using random styles put together. So this one, I call it the Koi Cottage, because it sort of does have a cottage feel, and cottages to me are very homey and homey feeling, cozy, that type of feel, which definitely fits one of the sims that I randomly chose. And then the other one sort of tends to like some more of those, like, I guess an Asian vibe basically. And also I am trying to I do put a pond eventually in the front, and once I decide to go back and add CC, because I do plan on actually using a lot of these builds, whether or not they are ever used for at least one of the sims that I use to base the house off of, who knows. But I found these CC koi fish that are animated that you can put in like pools and stuff like that. I don't know if they work yet. I haven't got to try them because I downloaded them in the middle of building this, because I took a break and went CC shopping randomly and found them while I was like, I had just started it and I hadn't really got a lot of it done. And I was like, you know what? That'd be great at that one build. So I do put a fountain that is intended to be like a koi pond basically. So that was sort of my whole inspiration for the naming of it. Right now the name, if you're seeing on the screen, does not say Koi Cottage, and eventually it will say question mark, question mark, question mark. But I built this in Willow Creek, which if you've seen July's big collab that I hosted, that was the Broswell's collab, which I filled the whole entire Willow Creek with houses that others made for the Broswells, what they interpreted the Broswell's house would look like. So this was one of the lots, so currently it does say Broswell, I think suburban home or dream or something like that. So, yeah, that's why that's there, but eventually I do call it Koi Cottage, and that is what it's called over on the gallery, and it is already up on the gallery as I'm doing this voiceover, so once you see this video, it is up there. My origin ID is ArtisticGamer7, and it is, like I was saying, called Koi Cottage, so if you want to download this for your own world, it is up there for your use. It has no CC in it, because I removed all of my CC before doing these builds, so that I wouldn't even be tempted to use the CC just yet, because I do want to try to build stuff without CC first, so that when I upload it on the gallery, it's available for more people, and more people also will get to use it at its like as a full functional house without having to replace too much. Of course, feel free to replace what you want. But anyway, back to the build. So that was of course that was the sort of overall feel I was going for. I did make it a pretty big size, but the Sims that I randomly chose also are very family oriented, both of them. So I would imagine that if you had two family oriented Sims get together, that they would definitely want a house that was big enough to have like other family members come over to entertain them. Also, you know, they would have kids of their own, things like that. So I definitely wanted it to be a pretty good size house and more of a family friendly house while still showing off sort of this, I guess I basically would say it's like an Asian vibe mixed with a homey cottage feel vibe to mix these random two Sims together. So hopefully, I think I did pretty well mixing those two vibes together. The bedrooms obviously themselves aren't going to show it off as much, at least the kids ones that I planned for like to be kids bedrooms. So, but otherwise I think I did really really good with showing off those styles, and I hope y'all enjoy it as well. So the overall layout, starting from the bottom to the top, the bottom is like the basement level, and also that little basically dropped down porch sort of feel to it. I originally only was gonna have that little outside drop down porch area, but I was also thinking that, you know, I think that they needed like a laundry area, but I didn't necessarily have somewhere that I necessarily wanted the laundry area to be. But then also I was like, I sort of have always wanted to try doing like a pool that was sort of inside but also outside, so like it flows out into the outside. So I do end up making a basement section that connects to this under like drop down porch area. And at first I tried to attach the stairs to the entryway, but I really didn't like how that looked, so I started trying other ways. And one of the things I started thinking about is like, maybe it's just maybe my area, but from experience, I've noticed that a lot of basements tend to be connected or close to the kitchen area. So then I moved the stairs back towards the back and towards the kitchen area, which for the downstairs section plus the upstairs section, I thought that made the layout so much better. But so yeah, and I also thought it was nice because when you think about, because now you sort of have to have the mindset of seasons is now in your game. And if you were really in real life at this house and you was in this downstairs section, would you, and it started like snowing, like blizzard, or if it started like downpour, thunderstorm, rain, would you want to have to run to the stairs, go up the stairs while you're still outside, and run to the porch and run through the front door? Preferably not. So I thought it was easier for if a sim or a person was in this downstairs section that they can just run up underneath this other section and they would instantly be inside, and then they could walk under roof, under a ceiling, to the stairs to go upstairs. So I thought it was like much better for it to do something like that. And it just seemed a little bit better functional wise. And also it gave me that laundry area, which I also put a little florist station, just, you know, maybe as a hobby for a sim to have. And it's connected a little bit closely to the outside, even though technically to get to where I put some of the planters you would have to walk for quite a while. But oh well, we'll just forget about that. But then you go upstairs, and of course there's the entryway, and there is also a like good living room, I guess. Technically we have two living rooms in my house. I call one the good living room and one the other living room. Some people call them like dens versus living rooms. Dens are usually where you hang out with family and I think watch TV, while the living room is actually the place that you just have couches and you just sit around and awkwardly stare at each other. Or at least that's what I do. I don't tend to talk too much with my family, which sounds bad, but it's just we don't the way I've sort of became myself, I don't relate to a lot of the things they talk to, and they don't relate to a lot of things I talk about. So it's just sort of how it worked out for us. But oh well, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really bother me either way. But so yeah, then I just sort of called them a good living room versus the living room. But one has a fireplace in it, so you know you can sit all cozy by the fire and sort of just talk and hang out with people. I also put some bookshelves in there just to sort of not make it look like an empty space, but maybe you want to read a book as you sit by the fire. I think that seems like a pretty good idea, and comfortable and cozy and nice and snuggly and warm during the wintertime. So, and then the other one has the TV, and I know it has a stereo. I think I put like one of the game options. I think I put it as the foosball table. Pretty sure. Not 100% sure, but pretty sure that that's what I used. They are open by archway. I've gotten really addicted to using these archways that are technically the columns and the spandrels. I think that's what they're called. Making archways out of them versus using the actual archways in the door section. I've gotten really, really into using those. So, I use them for the downstairs basement area to connect the pool, the underground pool part, and not the underground, the, indoors pool and outdoors part section, and then also, the living rooms and the entryway to the living rooms. So, I use that a lot now that I know that one, not only how it looks, but also the fact that Sims actually can walk through it is good. So, but there's also, of course, the kitchen / dining room. I didn't separate the dining room. The dining room's just sort of in that little nook circle area. I thought it was very fitting there. I used a circle table because I thought it was better. I do like the circle tables that we have in The Sims, but at the same time, not completely. One of my things about some of the stuff in The Sims is the wood texture on them to me looks a little strange, or it looks like they've been banged around a whole lot. And if you're building a house that they have like furniture that's been there a while, it makes sense. But when you're building a house that it's like they just built it, it doesn't make sense for them to have rundown furniture unless they're collectors of old furniture, which neither of these Sims are. So but that's sometimes my thing with some of the wood textures. They look weird or old and used to me. But anyway, that's a totally different story itself. Also, the decoration boxes, I think because I've already uploaded this to the gallery, and I think the decoration boxes, I forgot to move them where I wanted them down in that downstairs section before I uploaded it to the gallery. I realized that when I was taking screenshots, it's supposed to be beside the little basket and the umbrella stand, but I did not do that. I forgot to move them back, so just know if you do download it, the decoration boxes are randomly sitting inside the stairs down there. Just move them. My bad. I just seen it on the video, so that's why I brought that up all of a sudden. But anyway, back to the upstairs section. There also is 2 bathrooms connected to the living room section. I don't include those being put together in the build because honestly, to me, bathrooms are the more boring part of the houses and of the builds. And usually they look pretty similar. Not always look exactly similar. I do show the master bathroom because that's usually the bathroom that looks the most unique and the most different in any house that you go to. But also the 2 downstairs bathrooms, literally, they're right beside each other and they're literally identical to each other. I did them that way on purpose. I do include a screenshot of one of them in the end, so you still get to see it, you just don't get to see like the build part of it because that was time that I could cut out of the video to make it a little bit shorter, which I still wish it was a little bit shorter than it was. I think I'm going to try to speed it up just a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway, so I do cut out all the bathrooms just as a future reference except for the master bath, but yeah. But then upstairs, I know that the video should only be on the main floor, but I'm not going to talk for the whole video. I'm going to put some music over the ending part of it. But the next floor is basically starting of the living quarters in a certain way. There are kids' bedrooms up there, but there's also a study type function area, and then technically 3 bathrooms, but 2 of them are accessible basically to everyone, while one of them is not. So, like I was saying before, I used 2 random Sims to sort of give the inspiration to this build. One of them actually does have a kid by another person, because like I said, these are just 2 randomly picked Sims, basically drawn out of a raffle type deal. Actually, they both have kids, but I was thinking, if by some odd reason, because like I said, I'm better if I have Sims to base the builds off of. If by some odd reason these 2 Sims was to ever live together, one of them's kid probably would not be living here. Their kid is basically to the age where they'll be moving out on their own. So I was like, let's not use that Sim as inspiration, but the other one's kid is still pretty young. So I did use that kid's style as inspiration for one of the kids' bedrooms, but the other 2 I just sort of made it up and winged it, basically. One bedroom is meant for like a teenager, which is the Sim that I actually did base off, like the one kid's room that I did base off of someone. It's like more for a teenage boy. Now, does that mean it has to be a boy? No. But it was sort of using inspiration of a teenage boy a little bit more. So, and that room actually has like a tiny balcony attached to it, and it also has a bathroom attached to it. So that's like, basically that's the older kid's room. Like, okay, you're older, like you get these few extra things now. Also, when I first started doing that room, I thought that was the biggest room out of all the kids' rooms. But when I started doing the room, that I sort of went for more of a decoration, like, direction of being like a child's room that is like a little girl or something, along those lines. So I realized that it wasn't the biggest room, so I did move around the 2 bathrooms that were near there, the one that's attached to the bedroom, and a few other things, and an office area that is close to there. So I did move some things around to make that room a little bit bigger, because again, it's sort of like, okay, you're the oldest, so you get this nicer room, basically is what I was going for. And also, not to mention that, when you're the oldest, you're gonna be a taller and a little bit bigger human being, so giving them the more room, I think, is just usually the better option. So they got their own bathroom and a little tiny balcony sort of area out there. And like I said, there is another bathroom near there, but it's actually connected to the hallway, so that's one that like everyone would have access to. And then there's also an office area, because one of the Sims that I randomly chose is a business person. So I'd imagine if they did live in this home, they would sort of have their separate office compared to where like maybe others would be on the computer and stuff like that. So there is like a separate office space there set for the very business oriented person. Then there is also a study room, which is what I was mentioned earlier. It also has like some computers, desk, it has bookshelves, things like that, but that's more for like everyone. That's more for like everyone in the family to use and have access to. And I think there's like the chess table. That's basically like a skills room in a slight way. But that's sort of everyone's accessible room versus just like the business person's. And then of course there is the other kids' room, which is sort of, I went in the direction of a little girl, but of course, little boys feel free to have a room that looks like that. There's no problem with that, but that was the direction I used because it's better for me to sort of have an idea of who I'm building the room for. And then the other one is like I think it's a toddler's room. I think I put a toddler bed instead of a crib, but it's meant to be like, basically it's 3 different stages of kids' rooms. And there also is a bathroom close to the other 2 kids' rooms. The little girl's room, honestly, is the closest to all the bathrooms. So, uh, whichever kid ends up ever getting that room, whether if you download this house or if I use it in my save, that kid's a little bit more lucky because they have 2 bathroom choices that they can get to pretty quickly. So, good for them. But that is it for like that floor, and then there is finally the upper floor, which is literally only the parents level basically, or your single mom or single dad if you have that sort of family going on. But that is the master bedroom, and the master bath is all up on that bottom floor on its own. There's no other rooms up there. So that space is all to the mother, father, and or both, or mothers or father, however your Sims household is made. That is all theirs. So I did actually move that around also as well, because when I was started decorating it, I was like, it's not a huge room compared to sometimes how I do bedrooms, but it is still a pretty huge master bedroom. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this space? I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have a fireplace. But the way I had it structured, where the bathroom was versus where the actual bedroom was, I was like, I don't know if it's really weird to put a fireplace there. I know technically if you put a fireplace, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to have that outside licking chimney thing, but since I already did that for the fireplace that's down in the good like living room area, I thought it would make the most sense that any fireplace that's in this house would have that, because I would imagine if it doesn't have that, the house is set up or built a certain way that the fireplace's smoke gets out some other way, or either it's a fireplace that doesn't necessarily produce a lot of smoke. So I was like, well, it's not gonna work this way. So I do like move the bathroom completely to the other side that I originally had it on, so that I can just put this fireplace up there so that they can have a nice little romantic area near the fireplace. So that's basically the layout of the whole thing. I hope you do really like this build. Like I said, I'm gonna put music for the rest of this because it's gonna be really hard. Personally, it's gonna be really hard for me to talk for 50 minutes on this one house. Sometimes I'm able to get off on a ramble with talking about things, but I try to keep my voiceovers as much about the video as possible. One thing I do want to mention, I don't think I've mentioned, because this is like the 3rd time I've started recording this voiceover, but I didn't get very far into the other 2 when I decided, I was like, no, I'm starting over. But as of you're watching this video, I don't have any CC, obviously, in the build. The version that is uploaded on the gallery has no CC, but I do really, really like this home, and I do eventually plan on using it in one of my own saves, whether it's in one of the challenge saves or in my actual main save. I do want to plan on using it. Now, depending on the sims that I do eventually move in here, I may change it a lot, but if I use one of the sims that I based it off of, I may not change it a whole lot at all, but I am going to eventually add CC, because when I actually have houses for my actual playthroughs, and like, even if it's just for myself, I like for the house to have CC, because CC gives more options, just because certain styles of like decorations and things like that, or just individual personal styles, aren't shown, like don't have too many objects in like the base game and in the expansion packs as completely as much. I'm sure as the game goes on, there's gonna be more and more options. I think it's gonna slowly start covering more and more designs and styles and stuff like that. So eventually, CC may not be, you may not have to have as much of it if you're someone who uses CC to sort of fill the gaps of those styles. But I also just like CC in general. I like the look of it, and I like having that, and it gives more uniqueness from house to house. So basically what I'm getting to is, if you would like me to ever upload or show off the CC version of this house, please let me know down in the comments below, and I definitely will do so. But also on the note of CC, something I'm going to try to remember and say in my speed builds and cast in particular, if I'm ever doing a speed build or a cast that I am using CC, and you see something you like and you don't know where to find it, please ask me down in the comments below. It's hard for me to remember to put in the description all the links, especially since some of my CC, though a lot of people are like, whoa, I don't keep CC for so long, because they clear out their CC file and start over. I have some CC. I do go and clean up my file, and anytime something stops working properly or gets messed up or I don't like anymore, I get rid of it, but I don't get rid of all of it. So I have a way that I can easily go through and get rid of bad CC and also get rid of CC that I don't like for both build and buy and also for cast. And if you ever want me to do a video on how I do that, also let me know that down in the comments below. So I will definitely do that if you need to know how to do that, because I can individually clear out items and find them really easily. So I just go through and basically get rid of the items I don't want anymore. I still have CC from when I first started downloading CC for this game. So like I have files, my CC mod folder is basically separated by dates. So when I download objects and stuff like that, I make a folder that is the date of the download and when I'm actually adding it into my game. So I have folders that say like 2016 on them, and I don't know if there's any that say 2015, but I'm almost certain there's one or two that say 2015. Now, I will say my 2015 and 16 folders, there's not as many of them. One, I wasn't getting a lot of CC back then, but also by now, a lot of that CC has over time gotten bad, or I'm tired of it and I don't want it anymore. So I have gotten rid of some of those folders altogether just because they ended up becoming empty. So I don't have as many of them now, but I still do have CC that is pretty old. So it's pretty hard for me to go back and, like, as I'm trying to upload a video on a timely manner, to go back and list all the CC and find all the CC's links. But if there's an individual CC item that you see that you really want in your game, definitely let me know. Like, put like a time code, or be like the hair that you used for this sim or something like that. Let me know down in the comments below, and I will definitely try my best to go find that CC, and I will add it to the description. Otherwise, I'm not going to individually put all the CC in the description, but I will definitely go and find any specific CC that y'all are asking for. But just to let y'all know, the sites that I particularly use, it might actually help you also in finding some CC for yourself. I mainly use the Sims resource, and now I've started using Simsdom a lot, so that's like my main two. I have found a lot of good CC through there. Also, Mod the Sims and Sims 4 downloads is some that I use quite a bit. I went on Tumblr with Lana CC finds a lot as well, because she posts like reblogs and reposts a lot of really good CC. There is also another person that they have like their own individual site that I recently stumbled across of. I actually stumbled across it because I seen Chrissy York and Ali Sim do 2 builds using some of their CC, and I was like, ooh, I really like that CC. I want to go try to find that person. So I think I went through Chrissy's link, I believe, to find them, and I can't remember the name of them right off the bat, which I feel really bad, but I will put a link to all those sites down below, even though this build doesn't have any CC, just because since I'm saying it, so that y'all have those options to go and actually create. The only thing is to keep in mind, there are certain sites that use like AdFly and things like that, so just be really careful with those things as well. If you also want to see me do another CC shopping video, you can also let me know that in the comments below, and I'll definitely go over those particular sites and sort of how I go about things, because sometimes you've got to be really careful with some of the CC stuff because of the ad flies and things like that. AdFly I feel a little bit safer with than some of the other ones that will pop up occasionally, but you just gotta know not to click on anything other than skip ad when it finally pops up. So just keep that in mind when you go look for CC. Now the Sims resource, if you go to that one, they do not use AdFly. If you don't have the membership, it will make you wait for 10 seconds and there will be ads on the bottom of the screen, but it still is in the Sims resources website. It's not using AdFly or anything like that, so that one's not too bad to use. Also, the person that I mentioned that I found through Chrissy and Allie. Theirs is mostly just you can download through Sims File Share or OneDrive. So also you don't normally have to go through AdFly or MediaFire. I think MediaFire is an option in that one, but you don't have to click on it. So just keep those in mind if you ever go CC shopping at all. But yeah, definitely let me know ever if you want to really have. I'll definitely try my best to find it and put the link down in the description below. But I'm going to be finishing up talking here. I hope you really, really do enjoy the build. I am very proud of this build. I do really, really like it. I do apologize for the length. I have been finding spots as I've been doing this voiceover that I actually forgot to edit out where I just pause. So I think I'm going to be able to get it under 50 minutes. I just don't know how much under 50 minutes I'm going to get it under. So I'm definitely going to continue watching all the way through even after I'm done with the voiceover to make sure I get all of those, as much of those spots out as I possibly can to save on time so that you hopefully won't have as long as a video as it currently started out as. But I started with over I think it was like 11 hours of footage altogether because I built this like in 2 different days. I started it in like the late evening one day and then finished it up the next day. So it was a long build. But I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. I also will have my origin ID and the name of the build down there just as a refresh and a reminder, but it is Artistic Gamer 7 and the Koi Cottage. So that if you want to go download this on the gallery, again, no CC, so you don't have to worry about certain stuff disappearing on you if you download it. And the only thing you have to worry about is if you don't have all the packs that I used. I do have all packs in my game. I don't think I used all packs in this one. I try to avoid using, My First Pet stuff, because I know a lot of people didn't get that one, or they only got it if it was gifted to them, or they were able to get it really cheap as part of a bundle. So I try not to use that one, but I think when I uploaded this to the gallery, it did pop up as one of them I used. And I almost think it's the nightstand table that's actually in the little girl's room. So, now that I'm thinking about it, because seeing the video go past there, I was like, wait, I think that's what it is. So, but if you don't have all the packs, some of that stuff will disappear, but it's easy to probably replace it, and chances are, except for like the big expansion packs, I probably didn't use a whole lot of items from some of the smaller packs. Except for in certain cases. I know, like I said, with the My First Pet stuff, I think there's only like 1, maybe 2 objects from it, so you don't really have to worry about that one too much, but yeah. So definitely go download that if you want this build in your save. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed so that you can look forward to future builds and future cast and all the other things that I do on my channel. All of my Sims 4 playlists will be down in the description below, as well as all of my social medias. And if anyone ends up asking for, oh well, this doesn't have a CC in it, but the CC sites that I use will also be down there below. So all that stuff is in the description, so definitely make sure, you check the description for all of that stuff. And thank you so much for watching. I'm going to include music for the rest of it. Actually isn't too much of it left over at this point, but the screenshots are at the very end of the video, so definitely make sure you stay tuned for those, because I think the screenshots sometimes give a better look at certain parts of the rooms and some of the details that happen in the room. So definitely make sure you go look at those, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.